Dan, bring us into the Big Ten, your first play of the weekend.
Yeah, I really like Michigan -5 against Nebraska. Now, Nebraska, I was kind of on last week. I didn't bet on it, but kind of had a feeling that they might cover that OU game. They're playing hard. Their defense is playing well. But I think in that game and in the Illinois game they lost, we saw why they can't win close games. Not can't, but haven't. They've made a lot of mistakes that are losing football team mistakes, right? One of my best friends went to Nebraska, and I'm watching the game, texting him going, did they just false start on 3rd and 1? And he's like, yep, this team to a T, and then they got that blocked extra point when they're actually in the game at OU in the 4th quarter, blocked extra point return for 2. I text him again. I'm going, what the heck is going on? And he goes, yep, watching this team in a nutshell. Like, they have these habits where they struggle in close games. And 5 is a kind of in-between number where they could still hang close and lose a close game and cover. But I think Michigan State's formula, they have a really good running game. They have a competent quarterback. We saw that formula work in Miami, and now maybe Miami's not really good right now. They've struggled against any sort of competition so far. But I think Michigan State looks like your classic, strong, solid Big Ten team with that running game formula, the quarterback who doesn't turn it over much, and a solid defense. And Nebraska's a team that beats themselves a lot. So, yeah, I think Nebraska can hang with a team like Michigan State that could end up being a top 20 team by the end of the year and is ranked right now. I just don't see Nebraska winning close game, and I think 5 is a small enough number that Michigan State can cover this.
You want to jump in? Any thoughts on this game between Michigan State and Nebraska?
Yeah, I think that the interesting thing is we're gaining context every week in terms of what these teams are going to be and who they are. And it's very tough, at least early on in the season, for me to back Mel Tucker's rebuild, But I think now we're at the point where they are at least have earned the respect of saying, hey, this team is going to be much better than we anticipated they might be in Tucker in year 2. And with Nebraska, I think that last week I obviously got trapped by the big Oklahoma spread. But, and I do think that Nebraska's playing tougher and harder, but I just can't get my mind out of the way that Nebraska is. And that's just an incompetent football team when things matter the most. There's no other way to put it.
Right.
And, I still feel like this is a team that lost to Illinois and, hasn't looked very good in the time since, maybe improved, but like that is a very important piece of context to me because as much as I say, don't overreact to things, there are certain things where you can't not overreact to because I think it's a very good reaction. So I'm with you on Michigan State here. I think that Nebraska is one more loss away from turning into a complete dumpster fire. And I think that loss could be this weekend.
Yeah, transitive property doesn't necessarily apply in sports, but if you lose to Illinois and then you go on and do what Nebraska has done since then that Illinois loss is always going to stick out there as like this team can be that bad week in and week out. So
it's not one of those things too with they beat or lost to Illinois and then Illinois. It's just they lost to Illinois. Like if you're capable of losing to Illinois, I'm not trying to transitive anything. It's just a head-to-head matchup of like, what does that tell you about Nebraska? And I think it tells you quite a bit.